Glad everybody's here again. Today is September 24, 2016. We're so happy we have guests, friends, and family.
Amen.
Yeah, we're all in the family of God and under the unity of the truth, right? Unity of the faith. We're studying about midnight and what is going to happen when midnight cry comes. But when midnight cry comes, we understand that we have to be ready because we need to know what is going to happen. And the midnight cry comes after midnight. And then, well, this is way before the Sunday law, all right? Not way before, but it's before the Sunday law. And the things that have been written down is for us to know, to get ready, all right? Now, we studied, let's see, I'm going to go to the summaries that we did a week and 2 weeks ago, which is about the predictions that were given at midnight at the time of midnight, because the story of the Millerites is essentially the fulfillment of Matthew 25 parables of the 10 virgins. So we know at the time of the Millerites, there has to be a midnight and a midnight cry. So what was it that happened? What happened at midnight? We know that there were predictions made because we know from the story of Daniel, he gave predictions at midnight, right? So at the time of the Millerite, there has to be predictions also made, all right? The first prediction given by Josiah Litch. First prediction, in 1938, Josiah Litch published his prediction that sometime in August 1840, the Ottoman Empire is going to lose its sovereignty, right? Sometime in August 1840. So he just made it's an accurate, but it's not precise because he did not yet say the exact date. He said it was sometime in August, right? His first prediction, right? 1838. Second prediction, he said it will end in August 1840. Basically the same thing. His first and second prediction is really not a different prediction. It's the same prediction, right? But he made this in May of 1840, right? Because the third prediction that he made, it was on August the 1st, which is 10 days before August 11. So you can see here, this is August 11. The Ottoman Empire lose its sovereignty, right? At this time. He made his first prediction in 1838. That's midnight, right? He makes a prediction. And then he repeats it actually right here, but it's really the same prediction. These two are the same prediction. The prediction that becomes more specific, right? 10 days before August 1, 1840. So these predictions is predicting the fall of the sovereignty of Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire is Islam. So there's going to be a prediction about Islam. Remember, this is the Sunday law. So, right? So, Sister Fletcher, this is the things that we got to know. These things have to come first before the Sunday law. It has to come first. It has to come first. We have to know all these things first. We have to make a prediction of what is going to happen at midnight cry. And when it comes to impetus, yeah, and when it actually happens, then they will know that something bad is going to happen. It will give an impetus, right? Okay, now I will go to, let's see. Number 115. All right. There was another pioneer that gave predictions. There's actually two pioneers that gave prediction about the 7th month predictions, right? The 10th day of the 7th month. Who was the first pioneer that published anything predicting that the sanctuary is going to be cleansed on the 10th day of the 7th month? Who was the first pioneer that actually did that? Brother Miller, right? Brother, right? What year was that? 1843. Actually, he wrote something that it is after the autumn equinox, and he made several references that is on the 10th day of the 7th month at the Day of Atonement that is going to happen. You know, Jesus, he actually made a reference to it, and like what we studied last night, what happened to him? He forgot this, right?
Yeah.
He actually forgot this, right? But who carried on this message? Samuel Snow. Samuel Snow he published in February 16, 1844. But this message, when he was giving it, did not catch on. A lot of people did not understand it. But when it was first understood was on July 21, 1844, he went to the Boston Tabernacle and he preached the midnight cry, right? And autumn of 1844, he repeated that on August 8, 1844. And then he also gave it again on August 14 and August 15 in 1844. So, autumn 1844, he predicted that, what was he actually predicting? That Jesus was going to come at October 22, 1844. So what was he predict for us? We are going to have to tell the world what is going to happen. So what does this line up for us? Okay, we're standing right here. And here we're going to have to give a prediction. We're going to give a prediction about Islam, just like Josiah Litch. But like Samuel Snow, going to give a prediction about what's going to happen at the Sunday law also. We're going to have to give prediction as a Sunday law happens right here. We're going to have to make a prediction right here. These predictions area is twofold. It's about Islam and the Sunday law. All right. Okay. So the prediction is about October 22, 1844. This is when it first started taking traction. July 21, 1844. This is midnight. He gave it again and again. All right. Okay. So now that we know, all right, the predictions given at midnight is about Islam, and it's going to be at the Sunday law. What's going to happen at the Sunday law? The judgment. Whose judgment? It's spiritual Israel, right? The judgment for spiritual Israel. The door, the probation is closed for Adventism, right? Yeah. At Sunday law, we all believe that, right? And then whose judgment is also closing for the country? Because America, right? America is going to end, right? America is going to end.
Yeah.
America is going to have to give up its power, and it's going to give up its power to the seventh kingdom, right? And that's Revelation 17. We did that a long time ago, right? Just to refresh you. Okay, so two types of predictions given at midnight, all right? Now, this is a summary. How did the Millerites understand what all this, when all these times would correlate with, right? The first day of the first month is right. The first day of the first month is the lines up with 9/11 for us, and the fifth day of the fourth month lines up with midnight. That's when Josiah Litch, remember, he went to Boston. Samuel Snow went to Boston Tabernacle, and he preached the midnight. So midnight is here, and then comes midnight cry. That is at Camp Exeter, right? First day of the 5th month, right? The 10th day of the 7th month, the Sunday law. This is our waymarks right here. We need to know these waymarks, right? Where are we living right now? Very close to here. Very close to here. We're very close to here. And we're going to have to give a prediction. At this prediction, we're going to predict that Islam is going to do something here. Islam did something here, but Islam is going to do something here. And we're going to predict of the judgment for spiritual Israel and also for United States. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to go into something a little bit, the slide is going to be very, very busy, but it's going to be a summary of the 5th and the 6th trumpet. All right. When was the 5th and the 6th trumpet given? It's past already, right? It's past already. The 5th trumpet started in 606. 606. And the 6th trumpet, all right, the 6th trumpet is associated with the first woe, right? Boy, there's a lot of ministries out there saying that the trumpets are in the future. Still. Oh boy. Terrible. Right. And it ends at 1449. This is 150 years, right? The 150-year prophecy of Revelation 9. Now, this is the 6th trumpet. And the second woe happens right after the first woe. All right. Now, this second woe is how long?
That's 391 years.
Yeah. 391 years and 15 days. Where is that found? Revelation 9 also, right? Revelation 9. So, and the 6th trumpet ends 1844. And the 7th trumpet starts at 1844. And when does the third woe come? 9/11, right? Oh, this is milk now for us.
Yeah.
This is milk, right? This is milk for us. Okay. All right. What happened in 606? Okay, these are the summaries of what happened. There's a key to the bottomless pit that is opened, and smokes come out of it. Remember Revelation 9? Who is that? Who is released? What is the smoke that is released from the bottomless pit? Eventually in around 628. But who comes out at around 606? Islam. Islam comes out. And there was a war, a long-standing war between Persia, the Sassanid Empire, and the Byzantine Empire, right? And it culminated at the Battle of Nineveh, where Islam was just watching. Islam is waiting. So we know that Islam starts here, okay? So if Islam starts here, do you think Islam will be here? Because the beginning always, right. What happens in the beginning also predicts what's going to happen at the end. So you understand the beginning, you're going to know what's going to happen. If there's Islam here, do you think there's going to be Islam here? Oh, yeah. Well, there's going to be Islam right there. Specifically right there, because we know that August 11, 1840, there's Islam. What happened to Islam? The Ottoman Empire it lost its sovereignty, right? Okay. July 27, 1299, the first woe, the king, what was his name? Othman. He first attacked Byzantine Empire. And when he attacked, was he able to kill? No. He only torments. Right. He's restrained because he cannot kill. So he's restrained for how many years right here? 150 years, right? For 5 months. And he's like a locust and a scorpion. The locust and scorpion will bite you and sting you. Yeah, poison you, but not exactly kill you. Right? Yeah. And then what happened at in 1449, Byzantine surrenders supremacy, and 4 angels are made loose. Who are the 4 angels that are made loose? The sultans. Yeah. How many sultans though? 260 sultans from Iconium, Damascus, Baghdad, and Aleppo. Have you heard Aleppo in the news these days? Yeah. What's happening at Aleppo? A big fighting. With who? ISIS. Right? Islam, something going on? We now know that this is midnight. There's a big fighting in Aleppo and all those areas at midnight. All right. And what happens 4 years later? Constantine. Because Islam, these 4 angels, these 260 sultans, they could not conquer Constantine. Constantine is the last bastion in the east of the Catholic power. They could not conquer it, but eventually they conquered it, and the walls of Constantinople fell. So there's a wall that fell here. All right. So Islam is gathering power. They're still broken up. There's still multiple sultans. Right? Islam still broken up right now?
Because
right.
The 4% worldwide.
Right.
Worldwide.
Right. Worldwide. They're not. But what happens here? They come together.
Yeah.
And they become one. And they are able to bring down the wall of Constantinople. Okay. And then here, Ottoman surrender supremacy. Remember, this is the end of the 391 days and 391 years and 15 days. Ottoman surrender supremacy. August 11, 1840. And to the 4 powers of Europe. Right? They're the 4 angels are let loose here. The 4 powers take over the Ottoman Empire. And October 22, 1844, the Great Disappointment, close of probation, right? Close of probation is, so this lines up at Sunday law. Okay, all right. So who's this? This is his predictions about October 22, 1844. It started off with William Miller, and then there's William Miller disappointment, right? His disappointment. Then he gave the midnight cry message in Boston, July 21st, 1844. And then he repeated it at the Exeter camp meeting, August 15, 1844, right? We did that. This is chronologically where it fits on the whole timeline, right? So this is midnight, because right there, that's why I'm putting midnight right there, all right? That's 4 years, right? August from 1840 to 1844, that's 4 years. Is 4 years significant? Very significant. Where's the other 4 years? Right here. This is the other 4 years. That's the beginning, that's the end of the 6th trumpet. This 4 years is very significant. All right, it's right there. That's the other 4 years, right? This the beginning of the 6th trumpet. This is the end of the 6th trumpet. All right.
And we also see a wonderful manifest of God.
Right, it's right here. There, right here is then the understanding of William Miller's rules of interpretation, day-year principle, were able to decipher 391 years and 15 days, and their prediction was so accurate that everybody started coming accurate and precise. Yeah, a lot of people were come and join them because they were worried about their close of probation, right? Yeah, but if you join because you're worried about your probation, then you're gonna because most of them were they left, right? Most of them left because the reason why they came in, They were only worried about their probation. Yeah. They didn't really love the truth. Yeah. Okay. So what about just, oh, okay, here we go. Let's see, this is 1989. This is the time of the end. This is when, what happened in 1989? Was there a long war between East and West? Between who? America and Russia, right? The Cold War. Okay. Was Islam restrained at 9/11?
But before you go to 9/11, there was a war with Russia and Afghanistan.
And Afghanistan.
Drawn out war that
Right.
Depleted
the Russian.
the resources of Russia, finance.
That's right.
That's where,
So was Islam here? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because bin Laden has been fighting in Afghanistan here to reduce the power of to help reduce the power of the king of the south right here, right? But they attacked here, but were they restrained? Yes. Yeah. They're still being restrained at 9/11. So this is 9/11. Okay, this is Sunday law. This is a close of probation, right? So this is the 4 years we can extrapolate to here, because this 4 years is same as this 4 years. This is like a 9/11, Islam, midnight cry, and Sunday law. This is the same thing. You see the same pattern right there. Right, it's a fractal. We call it a fractal. All right, so it's this Josiah Litch, and he had 3 predictions, right? And his predictions was about Islam. All right, so when you put these 4 into here, these 4 goes into here, and then you go up. Oh, here's the midnight cry. Midnight and midnight cry is right here. So what all of this is telling us that we are going to be Josiah Litch and Samuel Snow spiritually. When? At midnight. Soon, very soon. And we are gonna tell the world what is gonna happen at Sunday. All right? Okay. And what's gonna happen at midnight cry. Right? Okay. Boy, that's a long ways about it, but I hope you can see all of this where it actually all comes together, right? Yeah. This is all chronologically. All right. So
while we'll be still tarrying, predictions will be made, the world will be aware as a plowing for different areas, and yet there's still a little time for brethren.
Some brethren will some of the brethren, well, hopefully a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing that I always is a burden is that hopefully a lot of our family members, right?
Yeah.
A lot of our family members will come in and wake up when they realize the predictions that are being published right now on the internet and everywhere is actually coming true, has come true, and then they wake up. Okay, all right. All right, so let's put this into, at midnight, Josiah Litch. Okay, he makes a prediction. He makes a prediction that sometime in August, right? Sometime in August, because it's August 1. He said, well, sometime in August, around this time. But then at this time here, then in August 1, he says sometime in August. Then in August 1, he predicts it's going to be August 11, 1840. So his prediction is about this, right? That's his prediction, right? You can see that? Okay. Now this is Samuel Snow. Samuel Snow, he actually made predictions, well, starting here. This is when it really sank in. People started to understand it. He made it again, and he repeated again right here. And he was predicting about the coming of Jesus into the most holy place. For us, it means about the Sunday law, right? But what about the predictions of William Miller and the predictions that happened before? There were some predictions beforehand. Whose predictions were these? How does that, because we know this is like Daniel, right? Yeah. And we know that there's these two predictions, and William Miller also had two dreams. Remember Joseph? Joseph had how many dreams? Two dreams, right? So this is what I'm going to attempt to show, that these predictions that were given even before midnight are like the dreams of Joseph and the predictions that Joseph made. All right.
And we should not be expecting one prediction.
Oh, no.
God will establish it by 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah. It's 2 or 3. Oh, there's more. There's more.
And one cannot stand in the judgment.
Absolutely, no. Because how many dreams did Joseph, we all know this story, it's a Bible story. How many dreams did he have? He had 2 dreams, right? What was his first dream was what? About the sheaves.
Yeah.
Okay, what did he say? How many sheaves were there that bowed down to him? The brothers, the father,
Sun, moon, star.
the sun, the moon, and the stars. Who's the sun? The father. Who's the moon?
The
The mother. Who's the stars? His siblings. At that time, was his mother alive? His mother is dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
So how could his mother bow down to him when she's already dead? This is a prediction.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It's spiritual.
Yeah.
It's not literal. All right? It's spiritual. When did they eventually bow down to him spiritually? The whole family.
When the crisis hits, he's still.
When they went to Egypt, the whole family, how many of them went to Egypt? 70 of them went to Egypt, right? When was it that, when in the time frame of the 7 years did they come to Egypt? In the beginning of the famine? Kind of like, at the end of the famine? It's not exactly in the middle. He said there's 5 years more to go. 2 years into the famine, they all went down there, right? And that is when, then then they said there's still 5 more years. That's the Sunday law. They all joined at the Sunday law, right? But his brothers came down when? When did his 10 brothers, 10, every time they went down how many times? I can tell you 2 times, right?
Yeah.
The 2 times. Every time they went down, they came down how many went down? There's 10, right? Because the first time, who was left behind? Benjamin was left behind, right? So they went, only 10 went down, right? And they went, the second time, they went down, how many went down? 10 again, why? Right, yeah. No, not Benjamin in prison. Benjamin came with them. Who? Not Judah. Simeon. He is the most wicked. Right. He was the one left behind in the dungeon. So when you line that up, when is that? Yeah, the midnight, right? Right. When they join, that's the 2 sticks. That's the midnight cry. That's midnight cry. Sorry, it's not midnight. It's midnight cry. The 2 sticks start joining, and when they completely join, it's the Sunday law, right? Because that's when the 70, the whole family, including the father, come down. You see that? I could have made all of that up there, but we studied this before, and hopefully it'll just be a review. All right. So these 2 dreams were predicting midnight cry and Sunday law, because here there was 11 chiefs that bowed down to him, right? 11 chiefs bowed down to him at midnight cry. The whole family bowed down to him at the Sunday law. So these 2 dreams were predicting midnight cry and Sunday law. All right, 2 dreams. Okay, he predicted 2 dreams also while he was in prison. This is about the butler.
And the baker.
Right. So what happened to the butler?
Butler was put back in his job given back.
Right, his job is given back. So, based on what we studied before, what does this actually mean? Where is this? How is it present truth for us? Right? Yeah, the butler passed through his probation, overcame the great disappointment, and continued to serve the wine of the third angel's message. But then the butler forgot the old path, right? He forgot Joseph. He forgot the old path. And what happened to him? But then he remembered again when he remembered the old path. And he remembered. So that's where it becomes present truth for us, right? We have to remember the old path. So the butler, it's about spiritual Israel.
Yeah.
It's about us. We have to remember. But what happened to the baker? Right? Why? So it's about the Millerites who did not get over the great disappointment and returned to the doctrines of the 3-tiered tiara. Who has a 3-tiered tiara? And is a cage of unclean bird. Who's the cage of unclean? Right? Their probation closed at on October 22, 1844. There, they went back to the teachings of the 3-tiered tiara and the cage of unclean bird. Their probation, right? So if this is October 22, 1844, that's the Sunday law. That's predicting the Sunday law. The one before is predicting when you will return, you will return to the old path. The Levites will also return to the old path. That's happened, right? Midnight cry. Okay. Now what happened to Joseph when he predicted the meaning of Pharaoh's dreams? How many dreams? I'm going to see it right there. How many dreams were there? And what did he say? These 2 dreams are one, right? These dreams are one. And what were the dreams about? The calf, right? The 7 fat cows that was eaten by the 7 thin cows. And then after that, it was about the thin ears of corn devoured by the 7 ears of corn. And when did it happen? When it was blasted with the east wind. So what was these 2 predictions predicting about? Islam when? Islam at the midnight cry. Islam at the midnight cry. Okay? Right. Okay. So we'll put these all together now. This is the story. This is the Joseph's 2 dreams. What was it predicting? That his brothers are going to come and worship him, right? When did that happen? Midnight cry, right? And then, what was his second dream? His family is going to worship him, what? At the Sunday law, right? Yeah. Okay, what about the butler and the baker? Right? This is about the Millerites. The Millerites that continue. Even after the closed door, they continue, and then they eventually remember the old path, right? So this is about the butler. What about the baker? The baker, his his probation closed right there, right? He was hanged right there at the Sunday law, right? Okay. What about these the cows and the grain, ears of corn, right? When is that? Okay, when is that? Looking at this, where do you think it's predicting about what? It's predicting about midnight cry, and it was given before. It was given here, right? So, oh, here you go. It's about the midnight cry. It's talking about the 7 years about midnight cry and the 7 years that is going to happen. The 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. But this 7 years of famine goes past here because this is the 2 years. Between here and here is the 2 years, right? 7 years actually goes forward. Okay. What about William Miller's dreams? William Miller had 2 dreams. Remember we did William Miller's, oh, here you go. That's the 2. Here's the 2. William Miller also had 2 dreams. His first dream, he dreamed about going on a walk, and eventually he had to go to a house, and he sees the house where there's a bear and a dog. Brother Fletcher and Sister Fletcher, we got to give you you got to read that story, because that story is really about what happened to the Millerites, and what happened to William Miller is essentially what is going to happen to us, right? Yeah, but he was then led astray, but by his former guides, the former leaders, he was led astray, right? At the end. But at the end, he was told not to go into the buttery, where all the present truth food is preserved. He said, "Don't go there, you know." And he didn't go there. But then he died. But just before he died, it is told that he had the spirit or the what of a little child, and he repented. And he then saw the light of heaven. And that, when we read that story, we read that story last night, we realized it is the story of the Millerites, which is repeated to the very letter in our time. So to know that story, we are going to know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. But he also had another dream, and that other dream is a second dream. And where is that written in? Early writings, right? It's in early writings. And that talks about the 2520, right? The seven times that those little jewels were scattered. They were scattered 7 times, but then it came together, right? It's the 7 times. When do those 2 sticks join together? Midnight cry. 2520, it talks about midnight cry when they start coming together, right? So all these dreams all come together, right? All the dreams all come together, right? You see there. It's talking about these predictions have been given even before here, but we're going to have to give it again here, because when we give this prediction about Islam, is going to empower this, not empower, it's going to give an impetus. Empower kind of means that it's going to actually going to be fulfilled. No, but it's going to be an impetus. It's going to make this people going to believe what this message is going to be about the Sunday law. This message about Islam is going to make people believe about the message of Sunday law. So people that don't believe it here and then suddenly wake up, they're going to be able to withstand at the Sunday law. So there's going to people be coming in at this time, right? And this is kind of like the summary. This is like the 2520, the whole thing. All these things are within this. You see that? Okay. Oh, this is a lot of information. Yeah, things that we didn't study before, things that we don't know, but we are required to know now. if we are going to get ready and proclaim a certain message that's going to wake up people, right, in spiritual Israel to come out and get ready to, because their probation is going to be here, right? But we got to be able to be ready. So what kind of prediction was it about Islam that they gave? Now, let's see. All right, this is the little summary. I make this over and over again. So we put here, we line it up here, right? Josiah Litch and Samuel Snow. They gave their right here. And here are the Islam right down here. Islam is still divided. They're fighting in Aleppo, right? Right here. They're still divided. It's a worldwide. It's a worldwide issue, right? But they're going to come together. And when they come together, what are they going to attack and destroy? The walls of Constantinople. And what does that represent spiritually for us in here? Because we're living right at this time here. We can see them fighting in Aleppo. But here, we know what walls are actually going to fall here. Where is this wall going to fall? Right, but where specifically? Where in this world is this wall going to fall?
America.
In America, all right? So this represents the wall in America that's going to fall. Just like the wall that was hit by the foot of Balaam when we met the donkey, or riding the donkey, right? Right. What happened to Balaam? Balaam's foot when it hit the wall. It was crushed. Who's Balaam? Is the false prophet. Who's the false prophet? America. America's foot is going to be crushed right here at this wall right here. So when you're talking about Constantinople, that's America. America is going to get crushed. And we're going to have to make that prediction. That's going to happen. And when that prediction happens, people are going to believe about the Sunday law, right? Okay. This already happened.
So the tidings from the east will convince
about
the people of the tidings from the north, which is the king of the north.
Right. And the king of the north is going to be troubled by the tidings of the east. The tidings of the east is here. Islam, right? Tidings of the north, Jesus is going to come here. All right. Okay, so what happened to the wall? It's going to be broken down. Okay, right there. Now let's see. I decided to go to the CD-ROM and of the pioneer writings and find out about how did they bring down the wall. And we knew that they bring down a wall with a cannon. All right. Is this prophetically significant for us? The pioneers wrote about it. Now this is Joshua V. Himes. I'm not gonna read all of this, but he talks about that the Turks wear no armor. They don't have to wear an armor because now they can shoot from afar.
Yeah.
Right? In the old days, they were fighting close hand to hand. They have to have a lot of armor. But what happens when now they have a cannon that they can shoot afar? Do they need a big heavy armor? No, not anymore. Yeah, they need to be fast. And then they have firearm and an immense cannon which they use to siege of the city. Now this is Joshua V. Himes. We don't need, like armor. We need, because now we have firearms, and the firearm is what? They can carry it on a horse, right? And they can bring their big cannon and tow it behind them, right?
And as I look at the code, we are really told to leave the city. These cities are always under attack.
The cities.
It's the cities.
Yeah, because they're gonna attack the city. You're right.
Siege.
It's gonna be a siege. The siege is gonna come upon Constantinople, and Constantinople is America. All right. Okay, here we go. Who wrote this? Do you remember this? This is Stephen S. Haskell, right? This one we got to read. Okay. The death of Amurath in 1451. Okay, this is the father, and the succession of his son Muhammad II. A wily man full of ambition and restless restraint did not retard the conquest. Muhammad's one design. Now, when he decided to go attack, and when he became the king there, basically, how old was he? He was like 19 years old. He's very young. Right. Okay. One design was to capture Constantinople. Peace was on his lips, but war was in his heart. And every energy was bent toward the accomplishment of this design. At midnight, he once started from his bed and demanded the immediate attendance of his prime vizier. The man came trembling, fearing the detection of some previous crime. Oh no, did I do something wrong? Why are you so angry? At midnight, he made his offering to the Sultan, but was met with the words, I ask a present far more valuable and important. I want Constantinople, right? I want America. Yeah. How did he get America? Constantinople. Muhammad II tested the loyalty of his soldiers, warned his ministers against the bribery of the Romans, studied the art of war and use of firearms. He engaged the services of a founder of canon, who promised weapons that could batter down the walls of the city. In April 1453, the memorable siege was formed. At the sound of the war trumpet, the force of Muhammad II was increased by swarms. Remember swarms? Swarm of flies? Swarms of fearless fanatics. Until, as Franza is a historian, has said, the besieging army numbered 250,000. Constantinople fell. The last vestige of Roman greatness was gone. Why did this happen? So that the Reformation of Martin Luther can go on in Europe, right? Right. So this is a distraction, so that God's people can be, God's people can come out, come out of error, right? So what did he do? He engaged the service of a founder of a canon. I will tell you this canon. His name is Urban. He's Hungarian, right? And his talent is to make a cannon. But when your job is to make a cannon, you're gonna sell it to people who are in war. So the first thing he did was he went to sell his technology to to Constantinople. To the Romans, to the Byzantine Empire, right? Okay, this could be very significant, right? He wanted to sell this technology to America, but Constantinople at that time's economy has gone down. They could not afford his services. The economy has gone down. They cannot afford his services. So he says, well, okay, in that case, I'll go to the other side, right? He went to the other side. He went to Muhammad II. And Muhammad II said, go build a cannon for me. Right. Okay. Here, let's see. I'm going to go back here. Right. Yeah, he was Hungarian. He was Hungarian. His name was Urban. Who's this? A.T. Jones, right? A.T. Jones. These items are sufficient to designate the point of true application of prophecy. A.T. Jones says this is significant prophecy, right? This canon is significant prophecy, right? In the year 1449, the death of Emperor of the Eastern Empire of Rome, the empire had dwindled almost to the very walls. It dwindled. It can't even afford Urban to build a cannon. Even though they had access to technology of that cannon, they can't afford it. And so certain did it seem that the capital itself must shortly fall, the successor to the throne would not accept the place without the knowledge and permission of Amurath, the Sultan of the Turks. And thus that empire that time really passed control under the Turkish power. Anyway, it came to Muhammad II, right? But his point is that this is a true application of prophecy. If this is for our time. Who's this? Right. In the siege, the incessant volleys of lances and arrows were accompanied with smoke, sound, and fire of the musketry and cannon. There's a cannon, right? This is the thing about it is this cannon has never been made before, and it was the largest cannon ever made at that time. The problem is it was so heavy that they can't carry it. So what did Urban do? He divided the cannon into two parts, and you take it separately to the place of the siege, and you assemble it. You screw it together so it'll become a long cannon. And that way is because it's so heavy. That's how they were able to transport it. In other words, it's portable. All right. You understand the characteristic of this cannon is going to be huge. It's never been used before, and it's going to be portable. All right. All right, here we go. This same destructive, right? He wanted to sell it to the Christians. The same destructive secret had been revealed to the Muslims, but that secret could not be gained by them, by the Byzantine Empire. So he sold it, this destructive secret, to the Muslims, and it is a new science, right? It's a new science. It's a new technology, and it's portable, and it's explosive, and it was first. The Byzantine Empire knew about it, but they cannot afford it. Okay, all right.
So you should also see that being employed in the
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. You have to use the concepts, not the real literal, but the concepts of it is gonna happen. That's how you're gonna be able to make a prediction. You have to know the concepts, right? All right. Now this is William Miller. He talks about it, and it is a well authenticated fact that gunpowder was invented but a short time before the taking of Constantinople. Cannon having been first used in the siege and capture of that place. See Dr. Gill on this passage who says that one cannon was used at the siege of Constantinople that employed 70 yoke of oxen to draw it. 70. It was so big.
140.
It's huge. That cannon is so huge. All right. Now, how many pioneers have been talking about it? Many, right? And then, even A.T. Jones says this is a point of prophecy. And Uriah Smith, right? In preparation for it, he gives the history of a recent invention of gunpowder, the mix of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal. Yeah, we've read this Uriah Smith before, right? Because this is in Daniel and Revelation, right? And the Ottoman artillery thundered on all sides, and the double walls. You see, the double walls fell. Yeah, it's like thunder. It's a midnight cry, right? And the artillery of the Ottoman Empire came and hit, right? Uriah Smith also wrote about it, okay? Well, I'm not going to read all of this because there's still more. Now, this is kind of like the handbook for Bible workers, right? That they publish, right? The exact idea whether it was intended or not would be conveyed by the discharge of musketry or artillery. The fire, the smoke, and the sulfurous smell of such a discharge was correspondingly precise with this language. One thing is certain, that this is not language which would employ to describe the onset of an ancient cavalry in the mode of warfare which prevailed then. Okay, what is it saying? That this is not the same mode of attack that they used to use. What are they using now as their mode of attack? Suicide bombings.
Always a sudden and unlooked for.
Right.
Suddenly and unexpectedly. This is how Islam.
The big
characteristic of the grasshopper.
Right.
Or how they move and newer invention.
Yeah, they come in. But the thing about it is, it's not going to be the same way they used to do it before. All right. So it's going to be new. It's going to be a different way. It's going to be portable. And it's going to be huge. It's never been used before. All right. This is an Arab writer. The Arabs have a very colorful way of describing their victories. An Arab writer describes the use of artillery at Constantinople. At length, the Muslims placed their cannon in an effectual position and threw up their entrenchments. The gates and ramparts of Constantinople were pierced in 1,000 places. The flames which issued from the mouth of these instruments of warfare, of brazen bodies and fiery jaws, cast grief and dismay among the miscreants, the Christians. The smoke which spread itself in the air and ascended towards the heavens rendered the darkness of the day somber as night, and the face of the would soon become as dark as the black fortune of the unhappy infidels. That sounds like how they would describe the Christians that they attacked.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay, here. I'm going to go down to here. Now, this was written in the Horror Apocalypticae by Edward Bishop Elliot. He's not one of the pioneers, but the pioneers often referenced him, right? Okay, let's see where I'm going to pick it up. Okay, Constantine survived. Constantinople survived all these attacks, right? The Goths, Huns, Avars, Persians, Bulgarians, all these people, they tried to attack even the Ottoman Turks themselves. They attacked Constantinople but never fell. Right, even the Saracens, which is Islam, right? And even the Turks themselves, they try to attack but they can't, right? But the fortifications were impregnable by them. Constantinople survived, and with it the Greek Empire. Hence the anxiety of a Sultan Muhammad to find that which would remove the obstacle. Canst thou cast a cannon? Was his question to the founder of a cannon that deserted. See, he deserted to him. He came from the other side. A size sufficient to batter down the wall of Constantinople. Then the founder was established. At Adrianople, the cannon cast, the artillery prepared, and the siege began. All right. This is a copy of that cannon. It's huge. See how they actually made it? This, I guess, really made it portable, because now they had two sections of it. And when they got to the field, they screwed it together and made one big cannon. Right? And this cannon is still there. It was given by the Ottoman Turks to the Queen of England, and you can still visit it. It's not. It's in England, right? It used to guard the Strait of the Dardanelles. This is a copy of it, although this is bigger because we have the dimensions of it. But at that time, it was the most remarkable cannon. And the thing about it is, it was very unstable, and not very accurate. So when they had to shoot it 7 times before then they get, okay, there you go, because it was so new. Right? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, this is where we are right now, right? This is 1449. The visited is surrendered. The 4 angels are loosed. These are the 4 angels. They're 4 divided all over the place. But then they will all come to, in 1451, they all come together under Muhammad II. He became the main central power. That's him, Muhammad II, in 1451. And this is when he hires a cannon maker. So that's the cannon. And what is he going to do? In 1453, that cannon is to break down the walls of Constantine. It's going to be a huge cannon. And it's never been used before. Some people are going to predict, what kind of cannon that is unstable but very effective? I don't know. Could it be nuclear? We don't know. We don't know.
New.
It's something new.
Yeah.
And it's never used before.
That's right.
It's not going to be no suicide bombs.
We don't want to be in that siege.
Radioactive things are unstable.
Yeah. I don't think it's
Radioactive things are unstable. Right? And it's going to happen here. And they said that the Sunday law? No, 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 no. This is way before the Sunday law, right? And some people are going to wake up here and says, oh, you guys were right. We better join up, right?
Too late.
Well, for some, there are. There are some that can still come out. Some. But the majority, it's too late.
And at that point in time, we know we'll become the target. Like Christ
Right.
became the target at his midnight now. All this stuff now. The world will know about us.
Yeah.
We were hidden now. We are really hidden, but
Right.
we'll be disclosed.
Right.
You know, so good people are coming in for the right purpose, but now we'll be pointed out also, leading up
Yeah.
further to the
Some people are saying, you know, are there people right now kind of like making crazy predictions on the internet, and maybe the NSA is, you know, the National Security Agency is kind of like monitoring who's making leaks. And when things happen, they said, hey, you were, what do you know about this thing that you are predicting? What is it that, is that a way of you actually gonna be brought in front of princes, judges, and kings? Absolutely. Absolutely. That is exactly how it's gonna happen. Because that's when the fall came down. This is when you're gonna be lifted up. That's how you are lifted up. And then you can tell what is going to happen. Okay. This is another thing I just put up yesterday. I added this yesterday. All right, this is from Google Maps. All right, this is Iraq, right there. That's Iraq. This is Syria. Syria is right here.
Really?
This is Turkey. Right, this is Turkey. All right, this is Baghdad. Remember the sultans from Baghdad, the sultans from Damascus, the sultans from Aleppo, and the sultans from Iconium. Iconium is a small city now in Turkey called Konya, but that's Iconium, right? Yeah. These are controlled by Islam. Right? Yeah. Right? Now, the Ottoman Empire under Muhammad II, his capital city is in Edirne. Edirne is right here. Right here. His capital is right here. And all their goal was to get Istanbul, which is Constantinople, because this never fell. This is the easternmost outside, the most eastward bastion of Christianity left that they could not conquer. So they basically surrounded. You know, this area is surrounded. Surrounded. And if you see this is gonna fall, what is this? This is America. America is surrounded by what? It's Islam is in all the four corners, right?
Yep.
Do you remember the prophecy that his hand is in every man, and he is in the presence of all his brothers? This is not literal. This is spiritual. This is spiritual. He is in every man's hand all over, surrounding America. And then he will attack with a unified effort by a young leader. Okay, this is Iraq and Syria, and this is the control of ISIS. This is ISIS right now. ISIS controls Baghdad, you know, and I think Babylon is right here. This is why people who have the preterist understanding of prophecy. You know what the preterist versus historic? The preterist, they take the literal and they force it into history right now. All right? Yeah. They say, you know what? ISIS is controlling Babylon now. So if ISIS is controlling Babylon, who's ISIS? The king of the... Is that what they're saying?
They're saying
Oh, they're saying it. Oh boy, because they're holding on to the preterist. You know, our pioneers made a mistake too, because some of them were holding to that understanding. Yeah, because the problem is that if if ISIS is the king of the north, then who is the king of the south?
Exactly.
Who is the king of the south? Is still Egypt? Is Egypt still there? Yeah, Egypt's still there.
Yeah, but
Right. So so if the king of the north is going to push against the king of the south, is ISIS gonna push against Egypt? Wait a minute.
right.
Okay, then they said, oh wait, it could be Sunni versus Shiite.
Oh, please.
Okay, this is a big problem. Big problem. Why? Because Shiite is what? Is Shiite Sunni or is ISIS Shiite or Sunni? It's Sunni. What about Egypt? Is Egypt Sunni or Shiite? It's Sunni. It's Sunni. So how is Sunni gonna attack Sunni? It just doesn't make sense. It's spiritual, brother. Right? Okay. Wow. You know all this? We have to make a summary, right? So we know that there's going to be, we have to make a prediction. We're right close at midnight. We're right at close midnight. And the things about the Sunday law, we cannot be confused about because it happens in a progression, is a progression. The first thing that is going to happen is midnight. Midnight is when we're going to have to be giving a prediction, just like the Millerites, right? Samuel Snow and Josiah Litch. Even though William Miller already made predictions before. All these predictions are going to predict what is going to happen. There's going to be a cannon that's going to blow up America. And it's going to cause the false prophet's foot to be crushed at the wall. Right? There's going to be such a big economic collapse that now the people are going to say and ask the government, right? You know, we need to go back to, all right, family values. You know what? We have been abusing this earth. We need to preserve this earth. You know, we need to reverence a day where we don't do anything on that day, you know? And who is going to call for that? Based on history. Is it from above or from below? From the groundswell? Is it going to come from above or below?
Below.
It's going to come from the people. The people is going to ask for a Sunday law. It's not going to be implemented from above. It's not. It's going to be implemented. People are going to ask it from below, such that now the church will join with the government, right, to implement the Sunday law.
In the time of Aaron, it was the people who said, make us.
Mhm.
gods."
Make us a
And
God,
Aaron made an image.
right?
The beast.
Yeah, all that comes together, right? It comes from the groundswell up. So when we see that people are going to say it's going to come from above, you know, we are the true protesters that still believe in the historist method, right? We believe in the historist method. We're going to go to the Bible. We're going to go to the Great Controversy, and we're going to see what that says.
Figurative delineation.
Right.
of events.
Yeah, the delineation of events. Then we will see how it fits the things of what's happening today. But that's where we go. We go to the Bible first, and then let the little light, the lesser light, add a bit more light to the big light, right? So that we'll understand. So all these things we are studying only because we know it's going to come up upon us soon. And unless we know these things, we are going to be caught unawares, and Jesus is going to come as a thief to those who don't what?
Watch right.
Who don't study.
That's right. And standing on their watch.
People who do not study will find him coming as a thief. So what it is saying, Jesus is not going to come to you as a thief if you study. All right? And that's what we're studying. And what we're studying is the more sure word of prophecy. All right? Okay, thank you very much. We are going to, still continue next week. We haven't finished with midnight yet, It's not done yet. Next week, we'll still continue it. All right.
So the study might take us into the midnight.
Yeah, until midnight, right.